opened my eyes and couldn't see. My right eye, just darkness. I tried to remember how I got here. And then it hit me. The screaming, the fists, the flash of a badge before everything went red. I was in jail, and I had no idea why. This is the story of how I lost everything for a crime I didn't commit, a woman I never met, and a family that threw me away to save themselves. Hey, dear listeners, this is Talks from the Net. If you like this content, then drop a like, smash the subscribe button for more thrilling content.
I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember anything between the screaming and the darkness. When I opened my eyes, the first thing I noticed was that I could only see out of one of them. My right eye, it was like looking through a thick fog. Shapes, shadows, but no definition, no clarity, just this heavy, throbbing darkness that pulsed with every heartbeat. I tried to sit up and pain exploded through my ribs. My jaw felt wrong, loose, swollen. When I touched my face, my fingers came away sticky with dried blood. That's when I realized where I was. Gray walls, metal bars, the smell of piss and disinfectant, the sound of someone crying 3 cells down. I was in jail. I sat there for what felt like hours trying to remember, trying to understand. The last thing I remembered clearly was being in my apartment. It was a Tuesday morning. I'd just gotten out of the shower. I was in my bathrobe making coffee when the door exploded inward. It wasn't a knock. It wasn't an announcement. It was just suddenly 6 police officers in tactical gear, screaming at me to get on the ground, and I was so confused I didn't even move at first. I remember saying, "What's happening?" And then I was face down on my kitchen floor, my arms wrenched behind my back, someone's knee in my spine, and they were yelling at me about my rights, but I couldn't process the words because I didn't know what I'd done. They dragged me out of my apartment in my bathrobe, not even shoes, just barefoot in a bathrobe, handcuffed, being pulled down the hallway of my building. And that's when I saw them. My neighbors, my community, people I'd lived next to for 3 years. They were gathered in the hallway, in the stairwell, spilling out onto the street, and the look on their faces. I've never seen hatred like that before. Someone spat at me. I remember that clearly. This woman from 3B who I'd helped carry groceries for when she had a broken ankle. She spat in my face and called me a monster. The police were moving me toward their car, and the crowd was following, and they were getting louder, angrier, pressing in. And then someone hit me. I don't know who it was, just a fist coming out of the crowd connecting with my jaw. I stumbled and the officers didn't stop it. They didn't even slow down. They just kept dragging me forward. And then there were more hands, more fists. Someone grabbed my hair and slammed my face into the side of the police car. I felt something in my eye socket crack. This wet, crunching sound that I felt more than heard. I was screaming, begging them to stop, begging the police to stop them. But the police just let it happen. They held me there while the mob descended. I remember seeing one officer actually step back to give them room, like this was justice, like I deserved this. I don't remember much after that, just pain, just the sensation of my face being pulverized, just the sound of people cheering while they destroyed me. Just darkness closing in on my right side and thinking, I'm going to die here and I don't even know why. When I woke up in the cell, a guard told me I'd been there for 6 hours. They'd processed me, took my mugshot. I wonder what that photo looks like, with half my face swollen beyond recognition. Took my fingerprints, gave me this orange jumpsuit. And then they left me there. No explanation, no phone call, just me, a cement bench, and the growing realization that something was catastrophically wrong. It was another 4 hours before anyone told me why I was there. A detective came to my cell, Detective Morrison. I'll never forget his face, this expression of disgust, like I was something he'd scraped off his shoe. He said, "You know why you're here?" I said, "I swear to God I don't." He threw a photo through the bars. It landed face up on the floor of my cell. A woman, maybe late 20s, dark hair. I'd never seen her before in my life. She says you SA'd her. The word hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just kept staring at this photo of a stranger and trying to understand how this was happening. "I don't know her," I said. "I've never seen this woman before." "She picked you out of a lineup. She's got bruises, trauma, the whole 9 yards, and she says it was you." "It was. I don't even know who she is." "That's what they all say." He left, and I sat there in that cell with the photo of a stranger who just destroyed my entire life, and I tried to make sense of something that had no sense to make. They kept me for a week before I could even get to a phone. A week. 7 days in that cell, with my eye getting worse instead of better, with my ribs screaming every time I breathed, with no answers, no lawyer, no contact with the outside world. The other inmates knew what I was accused of. Word travels fast in jail. And there's a hierarchy, you know. Thieves look down on drug dealers. Drug dealers look down on gang members. Everyone looks down on assaulter. I got jumped twice in that first week. Once in the shower, once in the yard. Both times the guards were just a little too slow to respond. My cellmate, this guy doing 6 months for assault, told me on day 3, "You're not gonna make it. They're gonna kill you in here." I believed him. But here's the thing, I was too shocked to even defend myself. Too shell-shocked to process what was happening enough to be properly afraid. I just kept thinking, this isn't real. This is a mistake. Someone will fix this. No one fixed it. On day 5, I started having panic attacks. My chest would seize up. I couldn't breathe. I'd collapse on the floor of my cell hyperventilating until I passed out. On day 6, I tried to tell a guard that my eye was getting worse. The vision was going from blurry to just gone, dark, dead. He said, "Should have thought about that before you SA'd someone." On day 7, I finally got my phone call. I called my parents. My mother answered. I said, "Mom, I need help. I'm in jail. There's been a mistake." She hung up. I stood there with the phone in my hand, listening to the dial tone, thinking maybe the call had dropped. I called again. My father answered this time. "Dad, don't call here again. Dad, please, I didn't do anything. We know what you did. The police told us everything. We're not going to help you." "What? No, Dad, I didn't. You're not our son anymore." Click. I stood there in the hallway of the jail, phone in hand, and something inside me just broke. Not like a clean break, like something being slowly crushed until it finally gives way. My parents believed I did it. Without even asking me, without even letting me explain. They just believed it. That's when I stopped fighting. What was the point? If my own parents wouldn't even listen to me, who would? I shuffled back to my cell, lay down on that cement bench, stared at the ceiling with my one good eye, and I just gave up. Let them kill me. Let the inmates finish what the mob started. What did it matter? I had no job anymore, I was sure of that. My face was plastered all over the news, probably. Local man arrested for sexual assault. My name, my mugshot, my entire life reduced to the worst possible accusation. I had no family, they'd made that clear. I had no friends who'd stick by someone accused of this. Nobody does. Nobody can afford to. I had nothing. And I was going to lose my eye. I could feel it dying. The vision was almost completely gone now, just vague light and shadow. The pain was constant, this deep ache that radiated through my skull. They'd taken my body, my freedom, my reputation, my family. For something I didn't do. For someone I'd never met. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, was that I couldn't even figure out why. Why would this woman say I essayed her if I'd never even seen her before? It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. I lay in that cell for days, turning it over and over in my mind, and I couldn't find an answer. Until finally on day 8, a public defender showed up. Young kid, fresh out of law school probably, carrying a folder and looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. He sat down across from me in the visitation room and said, "So, tell me your side." And I did. I told him everything. How I'd never met this woman. How I was in my apartment when the police broke in. How the mob attacked me. How my own family had abandoned me. He listened, took notes, and then he said the words that would change everything. "We need to look at CCTV footage, security cameras, anything that can place you somewhere else when this allegedly happened." Hope, for the first time in 8 days, I felt something other than despair. "I work from home," I said, "but I have building security cameras, keycard logs, my computer timestamps. I can prove I was in my apartment." He made more notes. "When did this alleged assault take place?" "I don't even know. They won't tell me. Morrison just showed me her photo and said she identified me." The lawyer frowned. "They didn't tell you the date?" "No." "That's unusual. Okay, let me pull the case file and we'll figure this out." He left, and I waited. It took another week, but the lawyer came through. He found CCTV footage from my building showing me entering my apartment at 6 p.m. on the night of the assault, and not leaving until the police broke in at 7 a.m. He found my keycard logs showing the same thing. He found my computer activity, work emails, video calls, time-stamped browser history, all from my apartment during the hours when this woman was allegedly being assaulted across town. I had an airtight alibi. The DA looked at the evidence and released me pending further investigation. Just like that, 2 weeks in jail, 2 beatings, a dying eye, and then, "Oops, are bad, you can go now." No apology, no explanation, just "you're free to leave." I walked out of that jail on a Tuesday afternoon, wearing the same clothes I'd been arrested in. Someone had brought them, I guess. And I stood on the sidewalk trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do now. My lawyer caught up with me. "There's something you need to know," he said. He showed me his phone, social media, news articles. My name, my face. Accused assaulter RELEASEDON technicality. The comments were, I can't even describe them. Thousands of people who'd never met me, calling me a monster, saying I should die, saying the victim deserves justice. Someone had posted my address. Someone else had posted my employer's contact information. "You need to disappear for a while," my lawyer said. "This is bad. Even with the alibi, the court of public opinion has already convicted you." I touched my dead eye, still swollen, still aching, vision never coming back. "Too late," I said. I took a cab back to my apartment. The driver recognized me. I saw it in his eyes when he looked at me in the rearview mirror. He didn't say anything, but he drove fast and didn't make eye contact when I paid him. When I got to my building, the lobby was empty, but I could feel eyes on me, doors closing as I walked down the hall, whispers. My apartment door had been kicked in by the police. It still hung crooked on its hinges. I walked inside. It had been ransacked. The police had torn the place apart looking for evidence. Drawers dumped, mattress flipped, computer seized. Everything I owned was strewn across the floor like garbage. I stood in the middle of it and just laughed. This hollow, broken sound that didn't sound like me. This was my life now, this destruction, this chaos. I went to the bathroom to wash my face, and I saw myself in the mirror for the first time since the attack. I didn't recognize the person looking back at me. My right eye was gone. Not literally, it was still there, but it was wrong. The pupil was dilated and fixed. The white was bloodshot and yellowed, and it just stared straight ahead, seeing nothing while my left eye moved. My face was still swollen and bruised. My jaw was crooked. I had scars that would never fade. I looked like exactly what everyone thought I was, a monster. I spent that first night back trying to put my apartment back together, trying to create some illusion of normalcy. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. An email from my employer. After careful consideration, we have decided to terminate your employment effective immediately. Given the nature of the allegations against you, we cannot in good conscience continue your association with our company. This decision is final. I'd worked there for 8 years. 8 years of excellent reviews, promotions, building relationships with clients. Gone in one email. I called my boss, straight to voicemail. I called HR. We have nothing further to discuss with you. I called my work best friend, the guy I'd had lunch with every day for 3 years. He answered, "I can't talk to you, man. I'm sorry. My wife, she doesn't want me associated with this. I've got kids, you understand." Click. I sat on my destroyed couch in my destroyed apartment with my destroyed face, holding my phone, and I realized. They won. Whoever did this, whoever this woman mistook me for, they'd won. Because even though I was innocent, even though I had proof, even though I'd been released, I was already destroyed. My job gone. My family gone. My reputation obliterated. My savings about to be drained by legal fees. My body permanently damaged. My future non-existent. No one was going to hire a man who'd been accused of SA, even if he was exonerated. The accusation was enough. It would follow me forever. I was 34 years old, and my life was over. I didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. I couldn't. Every time I thought about going outside, I imagined the stairs, the whispers, the possibility of another mob. On day 4, I ran out of food. I had to go to the store. I put on a baseball cap, sunglasses to hide my dead eye, and I walked to the grocery store 3 blocks away with my head down. I made it about halfway there before someone recognized me. That's him. A woman, maybe 40, pointing at me from across the street. That's the assaulter from the news. People stopped, turned, stared. I kept walking faster now. Hey. Someone grabbed my shoulder, spun me around. A man, angry. "You've got some fucking nerve showing your face around here." "I didn't do it," I said. My voice sounded weak even to me. "I was released. I have an alibi." "Bullshit. You got out on a technicality. Everyone knows what you did." A crowd was forming. I saw phones coming out, people filming. "Please," I said. "I just want to get some food." Someone threw something. A bottle, it hit my shoulder. "Get the fuck out of our neighborhood." More things flew. A can, a rock, someone's shoe. I ran. I ran back to my apartment with the sound of their jeering following me, and I locked myself inside, and I didn't come out again. I ordered food delivery, left instructions to leave it at the door, didn't answer when they knocked. I became a ghost in my own life. A week after my release, my lawyer called. "You need to see this," he said. He sent me a link. It was a Facebook post from one of my neighbors. The guy from 5C, I'd seen him in the elevator maybe twice. The post read, "Okay, real talk. Yeah, I was part of the group that beat that guy when the cops arrested him. And yeah, I feel kinda bad about the eye thing. But honestly, he always acted like he was better than everyone in this building. New car, nice clothes, always on his laptop like he's some big shot. It felt good to take him down a peg. Maybe the SA thing was fake, but he was definitely a dick." I read it 3 times. Then I read the comments, dozens of them, other neighbors agreeing, sharing their own stories of how I acted superior, how I never came to building events, how I always seemed suspicious. They'd beaten me, taken my eye, not because they thought I was guilty, but because they were jealous. Because I had a nice car, because I dressed well, because I worked from home and didn't attend their potlucks. They'd taken their petty resentments and used the accusation as an excuse to destroy me. And they were bragging about it online. I sat there reading post after post, and something inside me changed. That broken, defeated part of me, it started to harden, to crystallize into something else. Something cold and sharp and absolutely unforgiving. They wanted to see a monster. Fine. I'd show them what a monster looks like when he has nothing left to lose. I spent the next 2 days screenshotting every post, every comment, every admission of assault, every confession of jealousy-driven violence. I documented everything. And then I called my lawyer back. I want to hire a private investigator, I said. For what? To find out who really did this. Because someone essayed that woman. And if it wasn't me, then someone who looks enough like me that she made the mistake. I want to know who. I want to know why she picked me out of that lineup. And I want to know why the police didn't do their due diligence before they let a mob take my eye. That's going to be expensive, and I'm not sure what you're hopping to accomplish. I want justice. You were already released. No, I said, I want justice, real justice. Not oops, are bad, you're free to go justice. I want whoever did this to pay. I want the cops who let me get beaten to pay. I want my neighbors who assaulted me to pay. I want my employer who fired me to pay. And I want my fucking family who abandoned me to pay. There was a long silence. That's going to be a long road, he said finally. I've got nothing but time. It might cost you everything you have left. I laughed, that same hollow laugh. They already took everything. I've got nothing left to lose. Another pause. Okay, he said, I'll make some calls. I hung up. And I sat in my destroyed apartment, with my dead eye in the ruins of my life, and I made myself a promise. Everyone who did this to me was going to pay. The woman who accused me, her family, the police, my employer, my neighbors, my parents, my cousin, because I'd find out soon enough he was the real assaulter. Every single one. I was going to burn their lives to the ground. Not for revenge. For justice, because justice is what you call revenge when it's legal. And I was going to make sure every penny I spent, every bit of evidence I gathered, every lawsuit I filed was completely, totally, unquestionably legal. I was going to destroy them the right way. Now for comments. At Justice Warrior 2024 commented, I'm 30 seconds in and I'm already crying. The fact that the police let a mob beat you. This is a systemic failure on every level. At Legal Mindset commented, Attorney here, everything about this arrest is wrong. No Miranda rights read properly, no protection from mob violence, no immediate access to counsel. This is a slam dunk lawsuit against the police department. At Trauma Recovery commented, the detail about waking up and not being able to see out of one eye, I felt that in my soul. Physical trauma that becomes a permanent reminder of injustice. I'm so sorry, Op. At True Story fans commented, wait, they arrested you in your bathrobe. They didn't even let you get dressed. And then let people assault you while you were in custody. This is criminal negligence by the police.